you ever heard of drip marketing? Drip marketing is a powerful strategy that relies on steady, repeated exposure to a marketing message. Proponents of drip marketing cite statistics that show that when people have heard a message 30 times, it takes hold in their consciousness. It takes grip. And as the message is repeatedly dripped into a person's mind, it sticks there. And the person is much more likely to buy into that particular product or idea. My name is Mary Kassian. Welcome back to the Girls Gone Wise video blog. In today's session, we're going to be talking about the second point of contrast between a wild thing and a wise thing. Like drip marketing, today's point of contrast relates to the fact that steady and repeated exposure to an idea typically results in a person accepting that idea. Counsel, where she gets input and instruction, is the second point of contrast between a wild and a wise thing. The wild thing does not ponder the path of life. She doesn't think about how to live a godly life. She goes about her daily business and neglects to walk in the way of the Lord. It's not that she willfully snubs God's way. She just doesn't take the time or make the effort to figure out what it is or how to walk in it. Now, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, the average woman exposes herself to about 70 hours of mass media a week. That's TV, movies, radio, iPod, internet, video games, women's magazines. 70 hours. That is a staggering amount of counsel. And the problem with this is that popular media often lies, and it tells us lies about the nature of truth and goodness and beauty. It offers counterfeit versions of what womanhood and male-female relationships, romance, sexuality, marriage, and family are all about. Constantly listening to these messages affects our thinking. It's like a drip, 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 quietly pounding on our heads and on our hearts. Now, a wild woman stands under the constant drip of ungodly counsel. She takes it all in and she does nothing to counteract it. And because she doesn't intentionally ponder and pursue the path of life, she unintentionally wanders into the path of death. The word in Hebrew for wander literally means to stagger or kind of fall into. It conveys the idea of someone who trips up because they weren't attentive. So a woman who neglects God's way will begin to walk the world's way. It's bound to happen. It's inevitable. And I've listened to the stories of countless Christian women who have ended up way off course, entangled in affairs, having STDs, unwed pregnancies, abortions, slaves to masturbation, pornography, sexual perversion, Christian women cheating on their husbands, blowing up marriages and families and churches and communities, caught in scandals, their lives shattered by sin, their hearts broken. Let me tell you this, not one of them, not one ever planned to go so badly off course. When I ask these women, most of them can't even tell me where they started to go wrong. They have no idea how they got from here to there because it happened so subtly. It was just bit by bit, one small compromise at a time. Compromise always begins by listening to the wrong counsel, and that's exactly how our sister Eve got herself into trouble. When the serpent approached her, she listened to what he had to say, and that was her first big mistake. After listening, she engaged in a conversation with him. Instead of rejecting his point of view, saying, you know what, I'm not going there, I'm not going to listen, she stared at the forbidden fruit and she thought about all the benefits that he said it had to offer. Contemplating the serpent's point of view was her second big mistake. Her third mistake was that she began to accept his ideas. You see, there's a progression here. She was listening, chewing on it a little bit, and then bit by bit she began to accept it. And then she acted on it. She took the fruit and she ate. She sinned. The compromise in her mind led to a compromise in her behavior. And it all started by listening to the wrong counsel. Listening led to contemplating. Contemplating led to accepting. Accepting led to acting. So I want to challenge you to take a look at the counsel you're exposing yourself to. What are the messages in the movies or in the music, in the magazines? Are these things telling lies? Are they normalizing sin? Do these messages portray sin as good or desirable or beneficial? And if they do, why are you exposing yourself to such lies? Very unwise to do so. Don't be so puffed up to think that you're strong enough to remain unaffected by the drip, 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 drip of sinful messages. I also want to encourage you this week to take the 30-day media reduction challenge. You can learn more about it at girlsgonewise.com. Sign up for it and make a pledge to reduce your media intake, and I'll send you some emails to help you along the way. Tune out the ungodly counsel you're exposing yourself to. Tune in to truth. Be word informed and not world informed. That's the challenge of this second point of contrast. A girl gone wise doesn't walk in the counsel of the ungodly. She doesn't stand on the path of sinners. She doesn't sit under the instruction of those who scoff at God. She walks out of that movie. She trashes that magazine. She deletes that music from her iPod. Her delight is in the law of the Lord, and on His law she meditates day and night. Hope you've enjoyed this week's video book blog. Make sure and read chapter 2 on counsel. Answer the questions in your personal journal, and come back and post some remarks. I'm loving reading the remarks, so please keep them coming. And join me next time as we figure out how to be girls gone wise in a world gone wild.